Hello and welcome everybody to Trans and Transparent.
We're back, and I'm back.
Yeah, welcome back, Hunterina.
Thank you. Feels good to be back.
Yes.
I'm ready for this episode.
We're ready to get back into trans subjects, transness about our life, transness in public, okay.
And being transparent about it all.
Today we're going to talk about a little bit of this and that about trans care, side effects, things to help with the side effects that you don't want.
Yes, some different tips and tricks that are really good for both the girls and the guys and the these and the thems, and everything in between.
Let's go.
Okay. And we're going to end it off with a really good question at the end.
Just like the cherry on top of this Sunday.
Why not?
On this Thursday. Or it's Tuesday for you guys. So let's get into it.
Tell me how much you love me. Tell me you'll never doubt me. Tell me how much I changed your life. Say you can't live without me. Tell me
Oh my God.
Yeah, so tell me what you've been up to today.
Today?
Yes, today.
My girlfriend graduated today.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So
I love that you say my girlfriend as if I have no idea who it would be.
Well, maybe not everyone knows, even though she was in the episode last time.
Yeah. I hope they know by this point.
Yeah, Shalmi graduated today. So.
And what did she graduate? Or like what did
journalism.
Journalism.
She graduated
got her
journalist.
She got her bachelor's degree in
Exactly.
journalism.
But yeah, we had a good day. It was lovely weather outside, so we just been chilling.
Where did y'all go?
We went to first like a cafe and ate like a, what the fuck is that called? Sandwich, but not really a sandwich.
A sandwich, but not really a sandwich. A bagel.
Fralla.
Oh,
Fralla?
a fralla? A piece of bread.
Yeah. Some bread, and then we went to like a gelato place.
Oh.
Ate some gelato.
Some gelato.
Yeah.
Oh,
Lovely.
very
But then
nice.
earlier this week, I've been sick, unfortunately.
Yeah.
So that sucks. I hate, like, sometimes I like being sick because I feel like it can be cozy, especially if it's like raining outside or if it's like cold. And if I'm just have had like a lot of work the past weeks, and like it would be nice to get sick now so I can just like have an excuse to just lay at home, watch some TV and just chill. But then I was already sick like just a month ago. And now I was finally getting like, it was finally starting to get hotter outside. Like the weather has been nice. I just fixed our balcony as well. So we have like some new furniture out there.
Oh, I'm excited to have a dinner there soon.
And then, I wanted to get a lot of work done this week. But then I got sick for some reason.
Right.
I was about to swear there, but I didn't.
Wow. Maybe we won't be marked explicit anymore.
Yeah, hopefully. Yeah, well.
I have to say, you are one of the nastiest people to be around when you're sick I've ever experienced in my entire life. The amount of tissues that you manage to produce during a single day is actually insane. It's like, actually wild.
Every time I'm sick, the only thing I always get is like so much like
snot.
Snot?
Mm-hmm.
Is that what it's called?
Yeah.
Yeah. Because I sneeze like every second. I have to blow my nose every second. And I usually use up like 2 full toilet paper rolls in like within a day or more than that even sometimes.
Yeah.
So it was the same this time. Then my nose always start hurting so bad because I use it so much. Or I obviously like it becomes very dry and like almost like scabby because I blow my nose so much. Sometimes I even start to bleed on the outside after blowing my nose so much.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Actually.
It's nasty.
I just remember when we used to live together that you would like literally, like we had a sofa, right? Wow. That's revolutionary. But we had a sofa there at that apartment. And I just remember coming home, like I think a few times when you were sick while we lived together, I would just come home and the entire fucking sofa would just be full of tissues all over the sofa. And I was just like, well, this is a hazmat suit needed area. I'm not going anywhere near this.
Yeah.
I'm going to burn the apartment before I step into it again.
Yeah.
And I don't get it. Like, I just think it's so funny. I just have to say. Because, and you also managed to use so much paper. I remember you ran through, like, so many toilet paper rolls.
I know.
all the
I do that
time.
every
It's
time.
crazy.
But at least usually I don't get any fever. I don't get and always like it always lasts for like 2 days. So
That's true.
I got sick like 3 days ago, and now I'm already better,
Mm.
out and about in the city. You know.
Yeah.
So it's always very short,
Mm.
but with the sorry, with the snot or whatever you call it.
What a lovely introduction to today's
Yeah.
episode.
But now I'm feeling better. Also, some people say that like after, or like trans guys, trans masculine people, after they start testosterone, because you've heard like that men, when they're sick, they become like,
Nasty.
yeah, well, like helpless basically.
Right.
Like they lay in bed, they can't move, they look like they have Spanish flu or something. But when a woman is sick, a woman is sick, she can still like vacuum, she can still do all these crazy things.
Right.
But this time I just felt so dead, and I've never felt that before. So I was like, oh my God, what if it's coming for me? Because like I said, I've never had a fever, but this time I had like a tiny, tiny fever,
Oh, wow.
and that killed me.
Yeah.
I
get that.
almost cried like 3 times because I was so
What?
I felt so bad
Oh, no.
But I
Why did you want to cry?
because I was just so sick of it. Like
Oh.
no, I couldn't lay in any position that made me like relax. My head hurt so bad. I couldn't breathe through my nose. I just wanted to cry.
I have a very important question for you.
What?
Did you sneeze on the beat and the beat got sicker? Thank you. I'll be here all week.
Anyways, how has your week been, and how was it in Finland? Please tell me.
Well, I had a great time.
Tell us.
Yeah, I had a great time. It was really fun. I think I was just there with the mindset of like, I'm going here with my friend. I'm kind of taking a little bit of vacation. Like, we were there for like 5 days. So it was like
Right, it was a long
it
ballroom
was
trip.
a long ballroom trip. I mean, usually we only go for like 3 days, So
Yeah.
it was like, it was nice to take a little bit of extra time.
Yeah.
And
We definitely need to have like a ballroom episode soon.
yes,
So that's definitely coming. Maybe
For
next
sure.
time I'm sick.
maybe so. Yeah, I definitely would want to have a guest on the episode where we talk about ballroom. I think it would be really fun. But yeah, no, like generally, like it was really good trip. I had a good time. Everything went smoothly, nothing crazy,
Nice. But
we
did you
definitely
compete?
no. So that's the thing.
Oh,
So this time I was just like, I was more so in the mindset of, you know what, let me just go there, have a good time. I went there with my ballroom daughter. Her name's Biana, and or Stormy in ballroom. And she carried, she won grand prize for Baby Vogue.
right.
So I was
That's
very
awesome.
proud. I was a proud mother.
Yeah.
My whole 1 year olderness of her. Yeah.
But just so people understand, it's not like your actual daughter.
No. Biologically, no. But ballroom wise, yes.
Yeah.
So basically, I've taken her in and, take care of her and help her and la 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 la.
Yeah.
So anyway, she was competing and she really wanted to go to Finland. That's why we went,
Yeah.
essentially. So I just kind of went along with the flow and I was like, you know what, let's go, let's have a good time, let's have fun. So that was kind of my mindset going into it, and I didn't really have the intention of actually walking. So, and basically walking just means like competing at the ball.
Yeah.
For those that don't know, but yeah, so I didn't have the intention of doing it. I just I wanted to go and have fun. And we did.
Awesome.
There was a lot of fun moments. There was some...
But was it one ball or was it?
It was just one,
Oh, okay.
which was actually nice. Like,
Yeah.
honestly, sometimes I don't have the energy for multiple balls in a row.
Sometimes there's like 3, right?
Yes, like a proper ballroom weekend is going to be 3 balls.
Yeah.
But that's mostly like in Paris or...
I want 3 balls.
Hey, why not? Why not? Sounds like a great time.
Yep.
I really don't. Yeah.
I want what you have.
I want what you have. Let's switch. But yeah, so anyway, I do have to say there were some fun moments that I feel like I need to talk about from the trip. So there was this one moment, and I felt so bad because it was Stormy's birthday, right? Like one of the days while we were there. It was on the Sunday,
Right.
so it was like, yeah. The thing was, the ball was on the Saturday, but then after 12 o'clock, obviously, it turned into her birthday.
Right.
So at that point, after the ball, there was an after party. So we went to the after party. First, we got some food after the ball. Then we went to the after party. Mind you, I had heels on. I only brought heels, and we walked to this damn food place that was like almost a kilometer. No, not a kilometer, but it felt like a kilometer. Okay,
Yeah.
It was far. It was not very fun to walk in those heels. We got there, we ate. It took a while, and then we walked from that restaurant to the damn after party, which was also about the same distance. By that time, my
heels.
Yes, in heels.
What the
my
hell?
feet were dead.
Yeah, I get
We were
that.
there with my other friend, and she took her heels off because she was like, "I'm not doing this." So she just walked barefoot on the street, and I was like, it was so funny. It was just 3 trans girls walking on the street in the middle of the night, and we felt very lady of the night.
Yeah.
That fantasy, all dressed up. I was in a miniskirt, high heels.
Yeah.
It was fun fantasy. I had a good time.
Nice.
So then we get to the club, right? And the club wasn't like all that. Like, it was nice, but it wasn't crazy. So at one point, we were sitting outside. There was this one guy who started, we sat in a group, right? And then there was this one guy, he approached one of my friends from Norway who was there at the ball. And her and I and Stormy were talking, just the 3 of us, basically. And then there were other people that we knew around us. And this one guy, he starts talking to the girl from Norway. And he was like, "Oh, hey, where are you from? La, 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 la." And, she answers politely, but then she's kind of like, turning back, like,
Yeah.
"Hey, we're having a conversation."
Yeah.
And then kept talking to Stormy. And then this guy looks to Stormy, right? Puts his hand on her shoulder and is like, "Hey, what's your name?" And she's just like, my daughter, she's fish. Like, she sounds fish. She doesn't give all,
Yeah.
which,
She's also a trans woman.
also
so.
trans woman. And she just answers. She's just like, "Oh, hey, I'm Stormy." Like, nothing crazy,
Yeah.
I heard her. She didn't sound, it's not like she sounded like very clocky.
Oh.
And then this guy goes, like, he has a visceral reaction to her response, right? Like, backs up, goes like up with his hands, like, "Ooh, strong voice."
What?
Björn and I, or Stormy, we just looked at each other. We were like, what the fuck? And we just started laughing because it was so funny. And then our other friend from Norway, she's just like, "Okay, you need to go." Or like,
Yeah.
"Pack it up and leave." And he's
Yeah.
like, okay. And then he left. But then, yeah, I felt so bad for her. It was on her birthday and like very casual. But she took it really well.
Yeah,
and
I'm
now
glad
it's
you can
become
laugh about it still.
Yeah, it's become an inside joke already.
Yeah.
We've been walking around
That's
saying
great.
it all the time.
Because I feel like if you just would say like, "Oh my God, are you okay after that?" It would just like ruin it, or just like
Right.
make it into a negative experience instead of just laughing at him and be like, "What the fuck?
Yeah.
Why would you even say that?"
Exactly. But I feel like we're quite good at like taking moments like that and just making fun of it.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? Like
exactly.
it doesn't, for me, it doesn't affect me. Like that kind of shit. I'm just like, okay, well, hey, have a good time.
Yeah.
It's just fun.
Yeah, for real.
So yeah, that was fun. It was a funny moment, at least. Like we were really like, yeah, we had a good time on this
Yeah.
trip. Let's put it that way.
That's nice. But we were in
Um,
Finland at the same time.
Yeah, I know. That was funny,
I barely
actually.
even thought of that.
Yeah.
Because you were there during the weekend, and then I was there on Saturday
Mm,
to pick up my testosterone.
mm.
Because that's just like a day trip. I went with Shalmi. Because we do that, or I have to do that every 3 months to pick up my testosterone. So then we were there. Well, it wasn't in the same area in Finland, because where I went to is like an island.
Yeah.
You were in
I was in Helsinki. Yeah.
So not the same place, but still kind of fun that we ended up in the same
know
country
what?
anyways.
I love that we do our transsexual activities in
Yeah,
Finland.
exactly.
Very
So-
nice, very fun.
By the way, because I know people wonder why I need to go to Finland to pick up my testosterone. So basically, oh my God, my voice.
Ooh, strong voice.
Oh my God. Both you and I use GenderGP,
Yeah.
which is like an online private gender clinic, basically.
Mhm.
So you have to pay for it, like monthly. You have to pay to get your prescription. You have to pay a like startup fee,
Mhm.
and then you get to talk to a psychiatrist, and then you get your prescription basically.
Mm.
And then now we get a prescription every
3 months.
3 months exactly. But since in Sweden, like testosterone is really
It's very regulated.
exactly since it's like a steroid or people
Yeah.
use it as a steroid. So you can't pick it up at a local pharmacy here unless you have like a Swedish prescription within your social security number, basically. But since we get paper prescriptions sent to us with like a signature from a doctor, I can't use that in Sweden. But you can, because you only have to pick up estrogen, which is not as like
regulated, I guess,
Yeah.
in a sense.
Yeah.
And it's not as like it's not used in the same way,
yeah, exactly.
you know.
Yeah. So you can just pick it up here. But
Yeah.
like I said, since Sweden is
The trans care in Sweden is actually a
Yeah.
joke.
Yeah.
Like right now, it is.
they
it
they
takes,
think of fucking testosterone as like the worst drug you could ever take, basically.
the devil's juice.
You know, they like walk up to people in the gym and just test them for
Mhm.
taking steroids
Mhm.
randomly. Like it's that bad.
Yeah.
But anyways, so yeah, I traveled to Finland because I can basically use the paper prescription in any other country in Europe besides Sweden. But Finland is the closest, so I just have to go there
Yeah.
every 3 months, get my testosterone, go back, and then I can do my shots.
Yeah. But it is kind of crazy. Like the process in Sweden is really, really bad right now. Like we have this trans care clinic in Stockholm called Anova. And basically right now, from the beginning of the process where you send in like the papers to start the process, like the actual, like, what's it called? Remiss in English.
Oh,
The
I don't know.
whatever. When you send in the papers basically to start the process, it takes from the time you send them in to the first appointment. Right now, it's roughly estimated to be 40 months.
Yeah.
40 fucking months.
But it's probably going to be longer than that because you were supposed to wait, what?
I mean, the thing is, it's so ridiculous because for me, I sent in my papers and I got a rough timeline. And then that timeline was 18 to 24 months when I stood in line. And this
Yeah.
is December 2022. And mind you, it's already been that time plus a lot more.
And it's not, you haven't.
I
had your
haven't heard
first-
anything. I haven't
Yeah.
heard anything
You should.
from
You can
them.
actually call them and then ask.
I need to. I know.
You should do that.
Yeah, but it's ridiculous. Like it's
Yeah,
crazy.
So that's what I mean. If someone has to wait 40 months, probably gonna be a lot longer than that,
yeah.
which fucking sucks. And I know that the lines or the queues are very long in other countries too, like the UK.
The UK is insane.
Yeah.
Actually crazy.
So it just sucks so bad. Like I don't understand why the process has to be so long and like
The unfortunate thing, what I find so frustrating about the process is there's no other options. You know what I mean? Like in Sweden, for example, like you cannot get certain things done. This is going to change, however, soon with a law that was introduced
Yeah.
and it's going to go into effect in July. However, there's still a lot of things you cannot access without going through the process, and that leads people to do alternative routes, like take alternative routes and do like private care or
Yeah,
whatever.
DIY.
However, you have to resort to those in other countries because Sweden doesn't have its own like private clinics.
ways. Yeah.
Because I feel like that would be one thing. Because I understand that there are certain amount of resources, yada yada yada, people working. Like I understand that there's a necessity to have this line and to have the queue and whatever, and that there's not enough manpower, there's not enough resources, which in and of itself is a problem. However, Swedish healthcare right now generally is also just awful. So like it does affect everyone. My thing is though that, for example, for ADHD, let's take that as a comparison. So if you are in the line waiting for your like investigation to figure out whether or not you have ADHD or not, you can do it through like the Swedish healthcare system
Privately.
No,
What do you mean?
I mean that you can do it in two different ways. That's what I was.
Okay.
Let me speak.
Yeah.
Let me speak. So basically, you can do it in two different ways, right? Because you can do it either privately or you can do it through the Swedish healthcare system. If you do it through the Swedish healthcare system, which is what I did, it takes about, like, for me, it took about 2 years. And this was maybe 2020.
Like from the moment that you applied to when you got the diagnosis.
Yeah, exactly. Took about 2 years. So like one year and like 9 months, something
Yeah.
like that. Which was fine at the time. For me, it was fine, you know, and then I didn't have to pay for it. However, you know, now I think had there been an opportunity, or like I know that there are people who do it privately and then it goes really quick, like within like a few weeks or like a month or two maybe. So there is that option. However, when it comes to trans care, that's not the case. They only have the Swedish healthcare system, which now is, like I said, like 40 months until from start to just getting in the door, not even being done with the investigation part of the process, but just getting your first appointment. However, in like I said, there's no possibility to do it privately.
Yeah, that's so weird.
So then that's why we, for example, since we were like, you know what, no, it's not possible for us to wait. I really felt like I could not wait. My life was on pause and I was not having it.
Yeah.
So then we decided to go privately, but then we have to do it through, for example, the UK.
Yeah, exactly.
So if that option,
And I have to go to Finland every 3 months.
you know, if the option were to do it here privately, at least there would be the option.
Yeah.
Because in some people's case, they cannot wait.
Yeah.
And then, of course, there's the discussion then of like, okay, well, then it becomes about privilege, la la la.
Yeah.
That's still there. It still exists. However, it would be more safe, and it would be safer for people if they could go to an actual doctor in Sweden and get it done properly. Now it's kind of like you have to be your own doctor in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
Which can be problematic.
I mean, a lot of people also choose to just DIY it and just
exactly
order from some sketchy website, you know. Of course,
Exactly.
there are ways to do it somewhat safely, but still, like, that's like in my head, those were the only two options.
Yeah.
Like there was not an option to just sit and wait
No.
for 3 years or more, you know.
No.
Like I even discussed with my girlfriend, like moving. To like Denmark or something, where I could get like at least gender GP, because I didn't know if I could even use it in Sweden at all. So it was great that I could, but like I would rather move to another country, you know.
Yeah, but it could, because it is at that level. You're living a life that it does not. You're living in a body that doesn't fit you. Of course, you're gonna want to do something about it.
Yeah.
And if you don't have the option to, then you're gonna look for ulterior ways of doing it.
Yeah.
So that's it. It frustrates me. It frustrates me a lot.
Yeah, because something that I envied about the US, not anymore, because now everything's gone to shit over there.
Yeah, for sure.
Sadly, but I noticed that like I followed a few like people on like TikTok that were at the time like non-binary, and then they came out as like trans men. And I already knew that I was trans, and I already stood in the line. And then, like 3 months later, they were like, "My first testosterone shot." I was like, "What? It took you like 3 months?"
Yeah, it's crazy.
And I still have to wait years.
Yeah.
Um.
Well, I mean, yeah, I guess there's basically only private care, and then now it doesn't really.
Yeah.
It's a lot of fucked up shit.
Yeah.
In the US,
Now I'm super sad about that. Obviously, and
you know where from what I've understood, it seems like there's a good system in place, and a very easy system is Canada. I've heard that it's very easy to access like hormones and stuff like that in Canada.
okay, all trans people, let's all just move to Canada then.
Right.
Let's build our own little town where we could all live together safely and happily ever after.
Have you ever thought about that, like a transtopia, and it's just like a bunch of trans people? I would love it.
Yeah.
Because I feel like society is rough. So it'd be nice to kind of just get away for a second.
Yeah, definitely.
I would love it. Honestly, I'm not gonna lie. Imagine all the girls just mumbling and cackling and just screaming, and then all the trans men just vibing.
But people can bring their partner allies.
If they're nice.
Yeah. Because I want to bring Shelly.
Yeah, she's allowed.
All right, speaking of private care, or private healthcare. So, you know, we have to do our own like blood tests. Have you done yours? No.
See, I'm in the middle of planning to go and do that. But no, I have been very lazy about it. I've just done the standard dose for a while now, and I want to up my dose.
Yeah.
But yeah, the thing is, I'm supposed to do it every 3 months. Has not been the case so far.
Yeah.
And my ADHD has taken over severely. So, yeah. But I am gonna book. I'm gonna book and do it ASAP.
Yeah.
I was actually in my plans to
In
do.
your to-do list.
Yes. So.
Okay, well, I've done it like 4 times.
Yeah.
I've also been on hormones for longer.
Yeah.
But I've also upped my dose 3 times now because my testosterone levels keep being too low, apparently. But anyways, so recently when I did it, you know, I went to like a nurse basically. And I went there at like 2:00 during the day. And then, because when I've done it before, I always do it like first thing in the morning just to like get it over with. But obviously it doesn't matter what time you do it as long as you do it right before you take your next shot. Because your levels are going to be the same throughout the day, no matter what. So, unless you're on gel. But I'm on shots. So,
yeah.
So I went there and then she looked at like the tests that I needed to take. So I need to take testosterone, estrogen, and then a full blood count. And then she looked at the screen. She was like, "Oh, so you're gonna take testosterone?" And then she looked at me and she was like, "You have to do it in the morning because otherwise it's gonna be false results. Because you know when you're cis, or a cis man, or when you have testicles, your testosterone levels are highest in the morning, and then they drop throughout the day. So at night they're at their lowest."
Oh, okay. So maybe that's why I'm so fish at night. Okay. Clock it.
Yeah. So since it was like 2:00, she was like, "Well, they're not gonna be accurate, basically." But I was like, "That's okay." And then she looked at me and she was like, "Okay." So then right before she penetrated me with the needle, or what do you say? Again, she was like, "So they're gonna be false. The results are going to be false." And I just looked at her. "I know, it's okay. It's okay."
It's fine.
And she probably thought that I was stupid or something, or that I was too afraid to say no, or too afraid to like come back the next day or something, because I didn't want to tell her that I don't have balls, you know. I take testosterone because that just seemed suspicious, you know. But maybe because also you never know how someone's gonna react to that. Like even though she seemed like a sweet old lady, you know.
Yeah, you never know.
You never know, and so that's also what's like annoying or like scary when you have to do things privately. Because even though it's within the healthcare, because it was still at like a doctor's office or nurse's office, you know, I still have to hide things.
Yeah.
Because obviously I don't have a testosterone prescription in my profile.
Right.
So if I say that I'm on testosterone, I don't know if she's going to do anything about that because it could be illegal, because it's illegal to do steroids. But since I have prescription, you know, it could be a whole thing. Like, I don't even know.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So that was just weird and annoying, but she still did it. But she just probably thought that I was stupid.
Well, maybe she was stupid.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah. No, but I just think it's so annoying that we have to hide those things, or like that it becomes that, because then it's like the standard of care is going to be lower, you know what I mean? Like it does affect the care that we get.
Yeah.
But what are we gonna do?
Yeah.
Like, you know, it's hard to do anything about it. You just have to do what you gotta do.
Yeah.
You gotta do what you gotta do.
Gotta do what you gotta do.
But, you know, it is frustrating.
Yeah, because I've also seen like trans guys who are in the hospital, you know, for non-trans reasons.
Right, yeah.
They get like...
Oh my God, there are those things?
Yeah.
Non-trans reasons?
Yeah.
Wow.
They get like a water bottle when they have to pee.
Oh.
like laying there.
Oh.
Like, oh, you can just be in this if they can't get up, I guess. But then you'd have to be like, oh, I can't. Like, I would hate to be in that situation where they just assume they can fucking pee in a bottle.
Yeah, I get that.
Oh.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, but I'm also like, but in your case, I don't know, wouldn't they see it on like your ID?
Well, yeah, but I don't think they look at that because in my profile it still says female, or like in my journal.
Yeah.
For like the healthcare.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Yeah.
It still says that I'm female, and it still has all my old things. Like I had problems with like period pain, PMS in the past, so that's probably in there too. You know, they can see all of that, but I don't think they even look at it. She
No,
probably
probably
just
not.
look at my name and then the fact that I'm gonna do a testosterone test.
Yeah.
And then she saw what I look like. She thinks that that I have balls, which made me happy.
I get
But
that.
then it made me sad that I don't.
The double-edged sword, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, what are you gonna do?
Oh, I can imagine. Yeah. But I feel like, you know, it's an interesting time we're living in when it comes to those things, when it comes to like specifically healthcare right now. It's wild. It's a tricky process. It's a lot of work. It's a lot of this and that and figuring out where to go, where not to go, la 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 la. Like for example, for me, when I go and pick up my hormones, I go to a specific pharmacy every time because I know that they know how to do it. I had another friend who did this previously, and she was like, yeah, I went to like 10 different pharmacies and they didn't know. Finally, I went to this one.
Oh.
So that's why I started going there, because I know that they know what they're doing. So
like with the paper prescription.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So like even that in itself is tricky.
Yeah.
And a struggle.
I get that. Because always when I go to Finland with my paper prescription, they're also always like in the pharmacy. They're always so confused and they always have to ask someone how to do it. And like, I don't know, they never seem to like, you know, judge me or anything. But then with the first time I got there, I hadn't changed my name. So then a few times I've been there, they're like confused because I'm in there in their system as two different people, but with the same social security number.
Right.
Oh, it's a whole thing.
It is a whole thing. A whole. Boom shakalaka.
My throat still hurts a little bit.
Your throat.
Yeah.
I guess talking during a podcast isn't podcast isn't necessarily helping, is it?
Not really, but it's okay.
It's alright.
I'm a man, I can take it. Kidding.
Oh. That sounded oddly homosexual, rather. I'm a man, I can take it.
I can take it.
Take it up my ass.
What?
Yeah.
I've actually never had anything up my ass.
Oh. I would say the same, but that would be a lie.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's okay.
Well, anyway, something else that's been bothering me this week, or bothering me the past months, really, but lately this week, is that my acne has been getting so much worse, and it could be because I increased my testosterone dose, to be honest.
Right.
Because
how long? Because now you picked it up on Saturday. You already started taking higher dosage, or?
Yeah, I did that before. So I increased my dosage.
Right.
I've taken like 2 shots that are closer together. So could be that, definitely. But then I remember, like, I was so happy because I didn't start getting acne until I was like maybe 8 months on testosterone, 9 months, 10 months.
Right.
Like I started getting a little bit, but then I would say like 10 months, I started getting like, okay, now I have acne, not just a few pimples. But before that, because usually people say you start to get some acne like 3 months, 6 months, but I didn't get that. So I was just like, oh my God, I made it. Like, I'm not going to get acne because I was so scared of that. Because as you probably know, or as you know, I've had acne like for years.
Yeah.
Like my first puberty, I had it since I started getting it when I was 14. And then I had it when I was 15, and then it got super worse when I was 16, 17, 18. And then I still had it when I was 19. When I was 20, it started getting a little bit better because I had like acne treatments, tried different like treatments for it.
Yeah.
And then eventually it worked a little bit, but then it came back again when I was 21. Had it when I was 22. And then finally, it completely disappeared, and I had clear skin for the first time since I was 14.
Yeah.
So basically, for the first time in like 8 years,
Mm-hmm.
my skin was finally clear,
Mm.
and I just felt so good about it. But then obviously I had a lot of dysphoria instead.
Right.
So then, and I don't know why it cleared up. It just did randomly.
Mm.
Like not from any treatment or anything. It just did with time, I guess.
Yeah.
Because I didn't change anything in my skincare routine. So then when I went on testosterone,
Right.
after finally getting clear skin, I was like, what if it comes back again for a second puberty? I'm probably going to be worse this time because I'm on, it's a male puberty.
Right.
And then, obviously it came back.
Yeah.
And now, since it got so much worse last week, I reached out to a doctor. So I'm on like a treatment. I have like a treatment gel.
Mm-hmm.
Because I couldn't get antibiotics because I've already been on it twice, and apparently you can't get it a third time because it's harmful for the body, I guess.
Right. Yeah.
So I have the fucking gel that this exact same one that I've had like 2 times before too, and then it worked a little bit, but then it came back. So I'm just hopeless at this point. I'm like,
But I mean, I think it's probably gonna balance out a little bit after a while, right?
yeah, I hope so.
I think so.
Because usually it's worse during like your first 2 years if you get it, but then a lot of people go on like Accutane, I think it's called.
Yeah.
In the US. I don't know if you have it here.
Yeah, we do.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And usually that clears it up.
Mm.
But
that shit also dries out
Exactly.
your entire body.
and I also already have dry skin, like
Yeah.
super dry skin.
Yeah.
So, and I have eczema. So I don't even know if I can use that. So I'm just so sick and tired of it after 10 years.
10 years in the motherfucking game.
Yeah, and I take care of my skin so well. Like I clean it. I use different kinds of like good brands, you know.
Yeah.
Like you've taught me
Yes.
what to use.
Yes.
And my girlfriend has as well. So it's not like I'm a fucking pig, but I feel so disgusting all the time. You know? Because you had acne also.
Yeah, I
like,
did. I had a lot of acne when I was younger.
But that was also when you were like in puberty.
Yeah. I would say it was the worst when I was like 14, 15.
Yeah.
And then it got, or even like 13 to 15. Then it got slightly better. And then by the time I was 18, most of it was like gone.
Yeah.
I would say. Now I have like acne scarring. I mean, my skin isn't the most amazing in the world, but it's definitely a lot better than it was before. And I'm very, very happy about that. So
you didn't have any treatment for it. It just
well, the thing is, my mom has done like a lot of different treatments for me over the years because she works with it. So yeah, she helped me out. I've done micro needling. I've done a lot of different treatments over the years that have helped both with the acne and with the acne scarring.
Yeah.
And you know, since my mom does that, I get it for free, which is really nice. Not gonna lie, I'm not complaining. If anybody wants to go to her, you know, maybe I can fix a little bit of a discount code for the girls and for the boys or whoever, and you know.
Yeah, we need the acne scarring thing.
yeah, for sure. But
also not all trans guys on T get acne or
Yeah.
people on testosterone.
yeah.
It can be a side effect, but it's not guaranteed.
Yeah, it's not guaranteed. But anyway, so yeah, no, but I remember like it was horrible. And that was also, I noticed like looking back at it now, I remember how much dysphoria it cost me as well. Like because I've connected the dots over the years, and I've always been like, as soon as like my facial hair and like acne started showing up when I entered puberty, that's when I was like, ooh, I'm not comfortable. I don't like this.
Yeah.
Did not feel good at all. Obviously, for a lot of people, it's not the most amazing feeling in the world to get acne. But for me, it was like, I really remember, like, it really, like, I didn't want people to see my face. I didn't want people to see me. Like, I didn't want to be perceived at all, basically. I was just like, no, I feel really uncomfortable right now. So, yeah, I get it. Like, I really get the feeling of, like, not feeling comfortable with it.
Yeah.
It's not the most fun.
I also felt that way when I had it the first time or when I was like 16, because that's also the time where, you know, you're usually very insecure.
Yeah.
And having acne when you're perceived as a woman is a lot more like frowned upon, or how do you say it? It's a lot more looked down at.
Yeah, frowned upon.
Okay, yeah. Because it's seen as like more masculine, I would say, even though it's not. But it's more acceptable for a man to have acne. It's more acceptable for a man to have greasy hair, or just wear sweatpants. You know, all these things. It's more acceptable for a man to do that. So I was so ashamed, like more back then than I am now, which like I'm grateful for that part. That I feel like people don't look at me as much now, even though it still bothers me, obviously. But like when I was like had long hair and I was perceived as a woman, you know.
But I really remember the days when you would like really smother your face and cake it on with the foundation.
Yeah, I had
like
so much foundation.
Full coverage foundation every single day to school. Because we used to go to school together as well. So I just remember that like every single day. And I was always like, how the hell do you have the energy to do that in the morning every day?
I went up like 2 hours before I had to leave. It took like an hour every single day for me to do my makeup because I did all that foundation, smack it on there because it was the only way that I could go out in public. Like I had that at the gym. I had it all the time. Like I couldn't go to the grocery store without putting a lot of makeup on my face because I was just like so ashamed. I had to hide my face all the time. And I remember I hated when it was like sunny outside because you could see it so much more like in natural light. Even if I had makeup on, obviously you still see the bumps and everything. And that just, I hated it so much. I'm starting to get those feelings back, especially now that it's getting worse. And I don't want to use makeup on it, you know? So I just, like I said, it just feels disgusting. And, you know, it just hurts to touch. Like when I'm washing my face, it hurts.
Yeah, I get that.
So much. Like people who have never had, like some people have a few pimples here and there. It's not the same because the acne pimples, they're so big. They're like, what's it called? Like bold.
Like cystic acne.
Yeah, but they're like super big, and like if you touch it slightly, it feels like a giant bruise, basically.
Yeah. But I think it's also so funny because like, thing is, I remember for me, I always felt so uncomfortable with it, obviously, and I hated, you know, the fact that I had body hair and facial hair and acne, for example. But it's so funny to me now because now I can kind of look at guys who have it and I'm like, oh, that's kind of sexy.
Why?
I don't know.
But you also like when guys have like red cheeks?
Yes, rosacea.
Yeah.
I don't know why, but I just find it very attractive.
Yeah.
I think it's so cute.
Oh.
Or like, yeah, it's hot.
Yeah.
I'm ashamed to admit it, but yes. No, I'm not ashamed. more
but you also like
more rosacea for the people.
I feel like you would like a lot of body hair and like a sweaty, stinky man.
When you put it like that,
like bald.
Hey, this is
balding.
Getting out of hand here. But yeah, you know, I appreciate all different types of flavors and different appearances, and I'm down.
Okay, but what's like I still don't want to complain because I remember before I started testosterone, even though my skin was clear, I was like, I don't care how much acne I get, I just want to get on testosterone.
Yeah.
So I still feel so much better now than pre-T.
Yeah, of
with
course.
Clear skin, obviously. So I don't want to think about it too much, but obviously I can't ignore the fact that it bothers me so much.
No,
you know?
I get that. I mean,
So,
I guess you just have to sometimes focus on all of the amazing things that comes with it as well. Of course, there are going to be things that are frustrating about it, you know.
Have you had any like side effects that you don't like?
So there's one thing that is a little bit back and forth. I like it and I don't like it at the same time. Because, so basically, you know, when your titties grow, when the boobies, they're, you know, forming, developing, getting bigger, whatever you want to say, there's this kind of sense of like, they get a little bit
sore.
Yeah. Which is something that obviously I never had experience before in that area. So, at times I'll accidentally like knock them in, knock the girls in something, and it hurts.
Yeah.
And I'm like, ow, what?
Yeah.
This is new. Like, this is a new experience.
But I remember that also.
Yeah.
Like, how
But did that
much
ever go
hurt
out? Like, did that ever
Yeah, it
pass?
disappears.
Okay.
after a while.
Yeah.
Then it's not gonna hurt anymore.
Okay, because I'm still sensitive.
Yeah, I think it's probably gonna. I don't know, like how long it takes, like for trans women, but otherwise in puberty, I think it takes like 2 years, maybe 3 years.
Right. Okay.
I would guess.
Yeah.
I don't remember fully.
Yeah.
Also, my chest is extremely small.
That's
so
that's valid. That's
so
true.
there was not much growth there.
But I mean, like I said, so what I mean by it is like, yeah, that's frustrating and it hurts and it's annoying when you bump them into things. But
Yeah,
at the same time, it's also a side effect of them growing.
yeah,
And they have been growing.
and it's like
So I'm happy about
it's
that.
something that cis women experience too in their
Yes.
first in their puberty. They don't have multiple puberties. It's just us.
Yes, yes. But yeah, so that part's been both nice and frustrating at times.
Yeah.
I will say there have been a lot of really nice nice things happening. Like I will say like my skin has gotten very smooth
Mm.
and yeah, no, it feels really nice. like ooh, like I can feel like my pores are getting visibly smaller. I'm like,
Have you
ooh.
noticed like you smelling different? Because I know a lot of people starting testosterone obviously smell worse, which is like, which can be considered a negative side effect, but I just think it's a nice thing.
part of it.
Exactly, it's part of
Yeah.
it.
No, for me, I think, yeah, I mean, I think so. A little bit, yeah. But I think, I mean, I love a good perfume. I love a good scent, so
Yeah.
I always like to lather myself in that. So,
Yeah.
hey, I don't know.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's nice.
But are you sensitive to, are you sensitive to that when it comes to like smells and stuff, like with a partner? Because this is a bit of a sidetrack, but I just remember I've been with some people where it's like just their natural smell, like even they've just showered, whatever, but even just their natural musk, I'm like,
Musk.
yes. But even just their natural smells, I'm like, oh wow. I either love them so much more or it like turns me off to the point where I can't. Because there was this one guy that I almost started dating, but like it was just not, it did not give. So I was like, no, I can't.
No, like, I haven't really, because, okay, first of all, I haven't dated that many people.
Yeah. And you date women, so I guess in that department, usually it smells better.
Exactly. So I've actually never noticed that. Like, I know people have different smells, but, Shalmi always smells great. So even though sometimes she thinks she smells bad, I'm like, no.
Yeah, no.
But then I've noticed it on other people though that I'm not dating, like some people just smell weird. So I get that.
Yeah.
But then I feel like if you fall in love with someone, you're gonna start liking that smell.
Yeah.
But then I get also that it's difficult to fall in love with them in the first place if they
That's the
smell
thing.
weird.
But it's also like a pheromone situation. Like either you
Yeah.
click and you vibe when it comes to that or you don't.
Yeah. Yeah.
So definitely had situations where I don't.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
But I feel like also the list for like negative side effects, quote unquote, is so much longer for when you start taking testosterone.
Yeah.
Because like, okay, you could get acne. You're gonna lose hair on your head, but get more hair everywhere else, like in your ass crack. Like it's gonna get hairy everywhere, which obviously is something most people want. But and then you're gonna smell worse. Your pores are gonna get bigger.
Yeah.
You're probably gonna gain weight, which is also not a bad thing. But I'm just saying, like, what could be viewed as negative side effects.
Yeah.
Your blood pressure is probably gonna be higher as well. You're probably gonna die earlier.
Right.
But I'm not trying to scare anyone, okay? Because all of these things are like the same for cis men.
Yeah.
They're the exact same.
Yeah.
So
It's just part of it.
exactly. So you're gonna get the same thing that cis men get, basically, which just happen to be more smelly and sweaty and greasy and balder.
Yeah.
Balder.
Speaking of balding, that's a topic.
Have you seen my hairline? I'm kidding.
Oh, strong voice. No, because so basically, I just want to say this. So we started a
like switching subjects. Like
well, I guess it's part of it because I was just like in our Discord server that we just recently started.
Right.
And if you want to get into this Discord server, it is in our link tree in our link tree for the podcast. So go check that out and join. It's definitely growing very quickly, and it's really nice.
The website is Linktree. Is it /trans and transparent?
I think so.
Linktree /trans and transparent. You can also find that link in our Instagram account, TikTok account, where we also upload like reels from the podcast and just other fun short videos. Yeah.
And so anyway, some people in there wanted us to talk a little bit about like minoxidil and like the different things that you can do to combat hair loss.
I was thinking about minoxidil for hair growth.
Yes, I mean that too.
Yeah, okay.
Both. So that's why I was like, it is because it is a like pretty important and big side effect that does affect. Like as soon as you start taking testosterone, there's gonna be things happening when it comes to the DHT levels in your hair follicles. When you produce more testosterone, if you have the androgen called DHT in higher levels, that's basically what shrinks and kills the hair follicle over time. So you have to kind of combat that, and you can do it in different ways. And I'm just going to speak from my own experience because I dealt with a lot of it before. For myself, before starting with blockers and before getting on estrogen.
Do you feel like it's stopped now?
Yeah, for sure. Or because the thing was, I already took like androgen blockers, and I took a pill called finasteride, which I'm going to talk about in a second. But I just want to talk about this topic a little bit quickly and give some advice, because I do have some advice when it comes to combating hair loss, because I dealt with it quite quickly. When I turned like 20, I started noticing a little bit more like, oh, okay, you know, my hairline's getting pushed back a little bit. I'm not liking this. I did not enjoy it. Basically, my dad had really poor like genetics and he was bald. Rest in peace. But thank you very much, Father, for that. And that got passed down to me, and I don't like it. So I immediately, being the kind of girl that I am, started doing research and started learning about it because I was not about to see that happen to me. And my research concluded basically that two of the most important things that you can do to combat hair loss is get on finasteride. And finasteride is, like I said, an androgen blocker that like inhibits the production of DHT. And like I said, that's what kind of causes hair loss. So you just take a pill a day. It's not that deep, but it helps. It really makes it like kind of pause a little bit and not go as quickly.
But I've heard, I don't know if it was finasteride or if it was something else that helps with or helps reduce hair loss, that it can also affect your hair growth on other places.
Oh.
So like if you're a trans man, you might not grow as much hair.
Really?
Facial hair. I'm not sure.
Okay.
But I thought I heard it from somewhere.
Okay. I'm not sure. Because for me, I'm speaking out of a trans woman's perspective on this because...
So that's just a bonus in that case.
Yes. So I'm just saying that like this topic specifically, finasteride, I'm not sure of the effects when it comes to trans men because the thing is, it is meant for people who are assigned male at birth. Yeah. Essentially. Because of the specific... Yeah, I don't know. I think you can still take it, but I think you have to take a different dosage. I think you have to take a smaller dosage.
Maybe.
But I'm not entirely sure. So I'm not a doctor. Don't quote me on this part. But anyway, when it comes to people who are assigned male at birth, it is a very good way of basically just stopping your hair loss, or at least like making
Slowing
it go
it down,
slower. Yeah. And another thing that you can do to further help with that is to also take minoxidil. And
Right.
minoxidil is what can be used in very different ways. Minoxidil can be used on your head, but it can also be used on the face to help with hair growth if you want to, grow more facial hair. Because I know a lot of trans men do that.
Yeah.
It can also dry out the skin, and it's not the best to use. Like,
It was very strong.
yeah, it's
Like-
quite potent, and it can be it can be a little bit agitating for the skin, I think, on the
Yeah.
face.
Yeah. You shouldn't use it if you have like acne, or if you have any wounds, or if you have like super dry skin.
Yeah.
I used it on my like upper lip or
Mhm.
like my mustache area.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely did something.
Mm-hmm.
Better than nothing. I
Mhm.
stopped now because I just didn't have the energy to keep
Yeah.
going. And then also it did make my upper lip very dry, but I don't have any like acne there, so I still just
Gotcha.
did it there. So if you want to grow like a little bit of a mustache, that's definitely an option if you don't want to use it on your entire face, you know?
Yeah. However, for the head is where it's most common to use it. And essentially what you do is you just spray it on your scalp and then you rub it in. And you can either just, I usually use my fingers or like a silicone shampoo brush type vibe. Or sometimes I will also use a derma roller, which is
Right.
just basically a bunch of needles that...
Yeah, I also use that.
Yeah, it's just dermabrasion, which essentially kind of creates micro tears in your skin, but also lets in the product better, and it like kind of helps with the hair growth, and it kind of reactivates the hair follicles on the top of your head. So that's a really good way to make the product even more effective.
Yeah.
So yeah, those two in combination is probably the most like basic and essential things to do. I also have one other tip which I really like, and it is kind of combining some different sprays. So I also use, on top of the minoxidil, sometimes I'll also use a rosemary oil spray that I find really nice. It's from a Swedish brand. It's called Marianilla, I think. Is it Maria? Oh, you know what? I forget exactly
Yeah.
the brand, but it's a Swedish one, and it's a really good spray, and I really like it. And that one, really, I've noticed a difference for sure.
Nice.
So I use that, and it's worked wonders for me over the years, actually. And I do like my natural hair. I want to get some, I wouldn't mind a hairline lowering surgery. That's definitely on my list, and a hair transplant over that probably. But that's for my own goals. Let's put it that way. But those are like the most essential. Then there's also one more thing that you can do that I recommend. I've heard very good things about it, and I have one as well, and I use it every now and then. Maybe not all the time, but it's like this. You can get like these hats, kind of. It's like a hat situation, but it's just basically like it's a red light, like cap that you put on your head, and it just like shines red lights on like red LED lights on your scalp, which basically just helps the hair follicle kind of,
nice.
get a little.
Or you just shave your head and then get a toupee.
That you can do too. That is a very valid option. But if you want to stick to the all natural, well,
if you want to stick
natural, I was gonna say all natural, but maybe natural with some help. Situation. Then those are some good options.
Yeah.
Yep.
Awesome. Thanks for the tips.
You're welcome.
I don't know if I will, like, I feel like my hair receding process has slowed down a little bit. I feel like it was quicker at first to just sort of catch up to my age, but now it's like, okay, we're all caught up. Probably gonna move a little bit backwards, but I don't feel like I'm gonna bald completely, and I'm fine with having like kind of like my dad has. It's just like a little bit.
You also have like a two head.
What?
You don't have a forehead. You have a two head. Like your forehead was already tiny to begin with, so I don't think it's gonna be an issue for you.
Yeah, probably. I do want to, like, not next time I cut my hair, I want to cut a little bit shorter. Then I want to grow it out a little bit again, and then once my acne's better, I want to get a buzz cut.
You're getting a buzz cut?
I know people don't want me to, or some people do.
Really?
Some people don't.
I wanted to see it for a long time. We talked about this for years, y'all. Like,
if
I've
it doesn't
asked
look
you for
good, then
so
I'm
many
just gonna
years.
grow it out again. I just want to try it. You know?
And you have short hair. It's like it's gonna grow out in a few weeks anyway.
Yeah, exactly.
Like a month, 2 months.
Yeah, because I feel like I just want to experiment with different hairstyles. Like, okay, I had sort of like a mullet or modern mullet vibe for a while, and now I just grew it out a lot more, and now I'm tired of it. So I just want to have like a drastic change.
I get that.
But then I would like a little bit more facial hair and a little bit less acne, because my face is gonna be the center of attention in that case if I don't have my hair. But we'll see.
Yeah.
Sorry, guys.
If you get a buzz cut, can you walk around with like face tapes?
Face tapes?
You know, like Dochi has. Have you seen?
What?
You know who Dochi is?
No.
Benji.
What?
You need to know who Benji. Hold on. You need to know who you are. You need to know who Dochi is.
Dochi?
Yes.
And Gabbana?
No, not Dolce. Dochi. Fab artist. Anyway,
Okay.
they have like these, you know, the face tapes that like a lot of drag queens use
I think
to like
so.
snatch back the face.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. She uses those, but then she just doesn't cover them. So it's just like the tape, and she just has them. She's like,
Why would I wear that?
I don't know. I just want to see it. Just do it because it's camp.
Like a little facelift?
Yes.
Oh.
I would like to see you try just for the campness of it all. Why not?
All right, so moving on to the final part of this video, new part of the video. What am I saying? Of the episode.
Oh wow.
We're gonna answer a question from you guys or a story, and we actually just asked you in the Discord.
Yes.
And you have given us a few questions right away. So thank you so much for that.
Yes,
Like
it was
we said,
really, really, really quick.
Join the Discord. Join the Discord.
There's more behind the scenes.
Or send us a DM on Instagram with questions or stories.
And you can find that Instagram at Trans and Transparent. We're also going to be doing this little section of the podcast episode every week now. So let's get into it. The question for the episode is, why is it dysphoric sometimes as a trans person to not have friends of the same gender?
I feel like this is so common for trans guys, trans masculine people, because when you grow up, when you grow up being perceived as a woman or thinking that you're a woman, obviously you're gonna get a lot of female friends, even if you're like identifies as, or even if you identify as a lesbian, or even if you identify as non-binary, as long as you're assigned female at birth, pre-transition, I feel like you're gonna just be naturally drawn to women because they just feel safer, and they're just like, in general, they're just more fun to hang out with, honestly. And they're just nicer people. But I also feel like if you're a trans woman, you also tend to hang out with female friends.
Yes, for sure. But I think it is very dependent, because there are a lot of trans girls who lived very typically straight male before they transition and become more the lesbian core transsexual. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like more that vibe, which I think it's very common then that you have more like male friends.
Yeah.
And then kind of have a little bit more of a hard time kind of figuring out how to be friends with women then. You know what I mean? I can't relate to that. I mean, I was very girly pop, all of that before already. So I basically almost exclusively am friends and hang out with women. Yeah. Or
I'm basically the only guy I hang out with.
Yeah.
That's who's not gay.
Yes, exactly. Otherwise, it's mostly gay men.
Yeah.
Or possibly your friends. Sometimes.
Yeah. It's like I basically also only have female friends. I have one guy friend from like when I was younger. But even like I liked hanging out with the guys when I was a kid, but I never got that close to them. And then when I grew up, like in my teenage years, I just hung out with, well, you at the time.
Yeah.
But then you ended up being a woman.
Yeah.
And then I've just always had my closest friends have always been girls, basically.
Yeah. Yeah.
But then I've never had that many friends to begin with.
But like also that's the thing, because when we were younger, both of us, we really kept to our little mini group, and we were kind of just hanging out with those people mostly. I would say over the years, I've definitely gotten a lot bigger of a friend group.
Yeah.
But I remember both of us, we kind of just stuck to hanging out with each other when we were younger.
Yeah,
We didn't really hang out that much with other people. I mean, yeah.
But even in like recent years for me, like went to 2 different schools after we graduated.
Yeah.
And got new friends, all of them, or not all of them, but most of them are girls. Or just like a gay dude, you know?
Yeah.
So it's like, I never click with the cis guys. And even though I'd like to have more male friends, I feel like it's so difficult because I usually don't click with them. Usually I find just cis men, I don't like they have boring conversations. I feel
they
like
really do. I'm sorry, straight men.
I don't want to sit around and talk about football and
No.
like fucking cars or something. Like sometimes I find that interesting for like 5 minutes, and then I just want to get into deeper stuff.
Yeah.
That girls are just so much easier to talk with. Yeah. About
Yeah. No,
anything.
for sure.
They're just so much more open.
Yeah.
But then obviously it does make me dysphoric to hang out with a lot of girls. And even after hanging out with you, for example, or with your friends or Shalmi's friends, you know, I just feel like I need some masculine energy in my life, because otherwise I just feel so lonely.
Yeah.
And then my one guy friend lives in Norway now.
Yeah.
So I can't hang out with him. And then I'm just constantly trying to get more male friends, but it is really difficult.
Yeah.
So.
And I mean, we've talked a lot about how that feels for you, because I know it's been like an issue for you, or like been something that has made you dysphoric over the past.
I definitely click better with
years.
trans guys.
Yeah.
Because I feel like, you know, we have more in common. We can connect about things, and they're not boring people, even though they're still masculine, you know?
Yeah.
So that's definitely what I need in my life, you know?
Yeah. But I think it's also like, I guess where I can understand where the dysphoria comes in is also because like you want to feel like you belong, right? You want to feel like you belong to the group, and you want to feel like you belong with the guys, or in my case, belong with the girls. And it's like girls are going to always be so much more open-minded and so much more inviting. So I think it's easier as a trans woman, for example, to make friends with women, because women are a lot more easy to get to know, because they're tend to be more open and willing to have that conversation and willing to let you in. Yeah. Whereas guys can be very closed off. Yeah. Like specifically like cis straight men are very on the surface, and it's hard to break that, and it's like kind of hard to figure out what to talk about. Yeah. And especially if you don't have the same common interests, it's really hard. Yeah.
And like I didn't grow up learning how to talk to other cis men, because I think they all have this knowledge about these are the things I can talk about. This is how I talk man to man, or cis man to cis man, you know? So I don't feel like cis men is not always that awkward, because they just always find things to talk about, whether it's like, well, I just moved into this house and, you know, we have to renovate or things like this. But I don't know how to do that. So it's just going to be weird, you know?
I get that.
But I love hanging out with girls, but then, you know, I'm just going to feel like one of the girls if I do that, like, too much, you know?
I get that. But like I've told you, and like we've talked a lot about, is that I think it's like, it is important to also like keep in mind that just because you hang out with a certain group, or just because you hang out with them, it doesn't take away from your identity. And like that, I think that's the most important thing to focus on. Just to the person who asked the question, like, you don't have to, like, don't see it as like, oh, if I don't hang out with the guys, I'm not one of the guys, because you are like that. That's not what determines it. It's just men can be really boring.
Yeah.
Sorry.
I think it's easier to just see yourself as the guy, the fun guy of the group. Like,
exactly.
Sometimes you can see yourself as a fun, nice guy who can actually hang out with girls, because the reason girls don't want to hang out with guys is also because they're fucking boring.
They are.
And you're not.
Exactly. And I think, like, for me, that's why I hate dating so much because I find men so incredibly boring. I have nothing to talk to them about. It's so hard to strike up a conversation.
Yeah, it sucks.
Yeah.
But yeah, trans men, trans masculine people, or just LGBTQ people in general.
Yeah, queer people,
like queer
it makes it a
people,
lot easier.
Even if they're cis.
I think just
you know,
having something in common of being somewhat, a minority
exactly.
helps a lot.
Yeah, exactly.
Honestly.
That's true. So
I feel like I am in a different planet right now.
oh, Eliana.
Ileana. Yes.
Well, thank you all so much for listening, and please leave a comment.
Yes, please make sure to leave a comment in the comment section.
Yeah.
And don't forget to rate the podcast. We got it going on right now. It's been doing good, and I want to keep that going. Show your support, show your love, and we love y'all so much.
Yes,
and thank
we
y'all for
appreciate
all the
everything.
great critique.
We hope you tune into the next episode. It's going to be a fun one. And once again, thank you and good night.
Good night. Love y'all.
Love you.
You know we don't play. Stay out the way. Check out this look on my face.